So, people God, they lie down as on that top.
This is the most interesting story in 2022, where two young boys went to meet a native doctor for money rituals, only for them to be taught a lesson they would never forget. A young boy named Kingsley and his friend Madua Puchi traveled from Ebonyi State to Asaba to meet a specific native doctor called the Chimaring Temple. They had gone to meet this native doctor because they wanted to buy a car and they wanted to build a house. But the main person here was Kingsley. Kingsley was the main boy who initiated this. Kingsley had a plan to build a house for his mom and for his family, and he also had a plan to buy a vehicle, a GLK. And he wanted to meet this native doctor to fulfill it. Of course, Kingsley knows what it takes to do money rituals these days. You would have to sacrifice someone. And what was interesting is that Kingsley and Maduapuchi had someone in mind that they were going to use for these rituals. So these are teenagers, 17-year-old boys who were still in secondary school. They had not even graduated. And this happened in July of 2022. So when they got to Asaba and they met the native doctor, they proposed what they wanted and they were willing to do everything that is expected of them, because to them they already assumed the typical method of money ritual is to kill someone and have it done, and they had someone in mind, even though the person they had in mind did not come with them. It was a boy named Joshua, but the boy did not come with them. The boy was at home, so they were thinking maybe the native doctor would open a mirror and summon Joshua's spirit and strike Joshua to death, and they become rich. But this native doctor had other plans in mind, because the native doctor himself was quite shocked. He's like, what the hell? You people traveled from Ebonyi State, from your hometown down to Asaba to do this? Well, he now knew how serious this was. I mean, he could easily have turned them down and told them to go out, which may prompt them to go somewhere else. But he felt the need to teach them the biggest lesson that they would never forget. So the native doctor started recording them. And in his conversation with the two boys, he first told Kingsley, who was the head of the whole thing, that yes, you have a friend that you want to use, but the gods want to use this your friend that you brought here, Maduapuchi. Will you be willing to kill Maduapuchi to do this money ritual? And Kingsley did not hesitate. He's like, oh really? The gods want this boy? I mean, I have someone at home that you could use. His name is Joshua. But if the gods want him, I'm fine. Let's use him. Let's kill him. Maduapuchi is like shocked. He's like, what? Wait, what? You want to kill me? And instantly, he began to beg. He began to cry. He began to ask for mercy, that he's the only son of his family. Yada, yada, yada. And Kingsley did not care. Kingsley was so adamant on using Maduapuchi. He did not have any compassion. This was his friend who accompanied him here. And now the native doctor is telling him that you have to use this your friend, and he did not even think about it. It was almost as if Kingsley also had in mind to use Maduapuchi. It's as if in coming with Maduapuchi was like a backup plan, because when the native doctor brought up that suggestion, he did not waste time to accept it. And Maduapuchi was flawed. And in that moment, their friendship was under a microscope, under a big question, because now things is about to go left. So in the process of this chaos, the boy is saying, begging, Maduapuchi is asking for mercy, and then the native doctor asked Kingsley again, okay, I'm going to give you a knife, because I'm assuming this native doctor man is like surprised that this Kingsley boy is willing to do this. He is flawed. He is shocked that this boy is willing to kill his friend. And he even went further to ask, so if I give you a knife now, would you kill your friend for the money ritual so you can buy the car and build the house that you want? And Kingsley was like, yes, bring the damn knife. Where is the knife? I'm sure if he knew, he would have come with his own knife and he would not have wasted so much time having this discussion, because Kingsley was so desperate. And in the process of seeing Maduapuchi beg and Kingsley not giving a dime, the native doctor switched it up and said, the gods have changed his mind. The gods now want to use you, Kingsley, for the ritual, and the money will go to Maduapuchi. So Kingsley, hearing that the gods have chosen him for the ritual now, began to cry too. He is now begging for his life. He is now in the same shoe as his friend. His own cry was even worse. All of a sudden, he has value for his life. All of a sudden, he sees his own life flashing before his eyes. All of a sudden he sees that this is beyond him. This is not in his control. You just don't walk up to a native doctor and say you want to kill someone for money, because you could be that person. We've seen stories where people go to meet native doctor and they ended up being used by the native doctor. And that was the case with Kingsley, who is now crying and begging for his life. He even calls on Jesus. He even begs and prays to God to come and rescue him. Wow, interesting. Kingsley suddenly became human. So eventually the native doctor tells the two boys that, okay, see, relax. I'm just teaching you guys a lesson. Nobody's going to use anyone for money rituals, but you guys are going to swear that the day they would kill an innocent person for any reason at all, they would die. And the two boys made the oath to the shrine there and swore that they would not try it again or try it ever. So after the two boys were able to convince the native doctor that they would not do it again, it was now time for them to go. It was said that they even called their parents and called their family, because these two boys traveled all the way from one state to another, and it shows how serious and determined they were. And it's seeing what had happened in that shrine with their friendship, them turning on each other, Kingsley's easiness to want to use Maduabuchi for the ritual, kind of shows that they shouldn't even be friends. They shouldn't even be together. And I guess this native doctor's intuition was very impressive, because when it was time to let these boys go, he knew he would not let the two of them go together, because he does not know what may happen on the road, seeing what just transpired. So he suggested that Kingsley should leave first back to Ebonyi State, and Maduabuchi would go the next day. He would keep him safe there. At the same time, I think he had communicated to their parents and they had told the parents about the situation. But then there was a part where they asked Maduabuchi how he followed Kingsley there. And Maduabuchi kind of revealed something which indicates to me that this Kingsley boy had it in mind to use Maduabuchi all along. Like he knew that was going to come. Because Maduabuchi said that Kingsley told him that they should go and buy clothes and footwear in the market. And to him, he was escorting his friend to get clothes and footwear, only for them to end up in Asaba. That is a very tricky thing. That is a tricky thing for someone to do. And I guess Kingsley had convinced Maduabuchi that it's Joshua that they were going to use. Probably expecting that if it ever comes up, that the person he needed to use needs to be there, he would just present Maduabuchi. And that was it. The native doctor eventually advised Maduabuchi to end his friendship with Kingsley, that Kingsley is not a good friend. Because if for some reason that was a shrine where they kill people, Maduabuchi would have been long gone. He would have been gone. And Kingsley, I don't think he would have been rich, but clearly this little boy has a very strong heart. My question is, I would like to know if these boys actually learned their lesson. I would love to know if they did. Because this Kingsley guy, Lord have mercy. These are friends that people keep. See what the minds of young people are like today. See what they've emulated. I mean, we've done stories where young people are killing people for money rituals. It's that bad. So I would really like to know if Kingsley have learned his lesson. I would love to hear from Kingsley. I would love a video where Kingsley will speak up and tell us what he learned from this. Because for him to have that mind, I don't think it easily goes away. He needs to be schooled. But I guess this is something that he should easily learn from. I hope so. I feel bad for his friends. If I'm his friend or his siblings, even his mom and dad, I would raise my eyebrow on that boy. If I was his parents, I would be watching him like, okay, nope. If you can use a friend like that, there's a possibility that you can use your own mother and your father or your siblings. I mean, now that he's just a teenager now, when he becomes an adult, knowing the right place to go and the right people to meet for these kinds of acts that is already in his heart, it won't be difficult for him to do it the next time if he really wants to do money rituals. To some people, he may have failed now and he may have learned his lesson. To other people, there's a chance that this boy will get it right the next time. He might even do the killing himself, because this is really serious. I mean, it looks like a joke, it looks interesting, it's a very teachable moment in money ritual history. A moment where people can learn from, where the two boys hopefully have learned from, but at the same time, is exposing what the society is, and also exposing this particular boy named Kingsley. I don't know where you are or who you are, but Kingsley, we need to put an eye on you. You need to be kept somewhere where we can be looking at you. Because if 10 years from now, I won't be surprised if you're on the news for killing your girlfriend for money rituals. Because for you to have that mind at this age, what are the chances? He needs to be put in a rehab or somewhere where he can learn what he thought he knew, because it's disturbing, it's troubling, and I can't imagine how their friendship would be from here onwards. It's quite interesting, honestly. I would love to know these two boys in real life to just watch them grow and see how they turn out to be from this experience. It's a very intense one, but more than anything, I really hope a lot of people learn from this story and a lot of young people put an eye on their friends, because some friends are really the devil themselves. So that's how the story ended for these boys. The transport money they came with was split into two. Kingsley was made to travel back to Ebonyi first, and Maduabuchi stayed the next day and left the next day, and just to make sure they don't go together. It's just interesting. So you guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you feel about the story. How do you see the story? What are your takes? Do you think these boys would learn their lessons? Do you think Maduabuchi would learn to make better friends? Do you think Kingsley would change his mentality as per money rituals? Or do you think he most likely should be someone we should put an eye on? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment where you're watching from, also comment your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Click on the bell button to turn on notifications, so whenever there is a new video, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you guys for watching.